Hi, I'm Dr. Jim.
And I'm Dr. Janine.
Thanks for stopping by today. We're going to be talking about something that should be interesting to you. It's about prediabetes. I know you've heard that term. Perhaps you don't understand what it is, and we get a lot of people say that they just don't understand prediabetes. You're either diabetic or you aren't.
Well, we get people every day and they don't understand how bad prediabetes can be.
Yes.
And so that's what we want to let you know is what it is and what kind of risk go with it.
Yeah.
Because you're at high risk for a lot of other things when you are pre-diabetic.
Yeah, basically what you are as pre-diabetic is you're insulin resistant. Okay, that's another term for it. Now, you may have heard that term, insulin resistance. But what insulin resistance shows us is that you're having damage to your cells. The hemoglobin A1C, for instance, your hemoglobin A1C, the normal range runs from about 4.8 up to about 5.6%. Everybody thinks that's just a made-up number. It's not. What they're looking at is actually the hemoglobin has two proteins. It has a hemoglobin A1 and a hemoglobin A2. Most of the hemoglobin protein is A1. So what we can do is we can look at that hemoglobin A1C. We see how much of your hemoglobin is actually damaged. Therefore, the 5.6% or whatever the A1C is, that's how much of your hemoglobin, your red blood cell stuff, is actually damaged due to exposure to sugar, or what we call glycation.
With sugar, they know that when there's so much damage, a certain percent of damage, they can correlate to certain degrees of blood sugar.
Right.
So they can say, okay, if you're 5.8, then your average blood sugar is going to be this. So what prediabetes is when your A1C is between 5.7 and 6.4. And then anything over 6.4 is diabetic. But, okay, everybody says, okay, well, I'm not diabetic. I'm just pre-diabetic. Well, yeah, but when you start getting into that pre-diabetic range, there's a lot of research that's been done on conditions and problems that you are going to start having.
Yeah, for instance, back to that hemoglobin A1C. And this is always kind of freaks people out when they find this out. Okay, my hemoglobin A1C is 5.7, 5.8. It's just barely in the range of pre-diabetic, right? But that means 5.7 or 5.8% of your red blood cells are being damaged. Now, take that a step further. I've seen people develop actual neuropathies at 5.6, 5.7. So it's 5.6. Oh, that's still normal. That's just high normal. Yes, and it can cause damage to the nerve cells and cause stuff like neuropathies.
Right. And so neuropathies are not just for extreme diabetics. Now, no doubt, the higher your A1C is, the higher your blood sugar is, the more likely you will have neuropathies. But it's not to say that you cannot have neuropathies because you're not diabetic yet. Now,
Exactly.
Another thing, just take insulin resistance, because there's insulin resistance, then there's prediabetes, and there's diabetes. One of the first symptoms that shows up is high blood pressure. So when you are even pre-diabetic, it is very likely that you are going to get hypertension.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's one thing that commonly goes along with it. We see that very, very, very often.
Somebody comes to us and says, okay, I've been diagnosed with hypertension or high blood pressure. Well, the first thing we start looking at is, okay, why? What's going on in that body that would make it do something like that? Hadn't done that for years, and all of a sudden, boom, now we've got hypertension. Okay, there's a problem. And typically it goes back to that increased blood sugar level because you got damage, remember, and if it's damaging red blood cells, don't you think it's damaging your arteries too?
Right.
That's the problem.
But when it comes to sugar definitely damages things. We all know that.
We know that.
But what else damages it is insulin.
Yeah.
And in so many times in the pre-diabetics that we deal with, and which is a lot on a daily basis, their insulin is sky high. Your insulin can be real high even though your sugar is not real high yet. So we see people that the insulin is sky high, which insulin also damages tissue. So when it's too high, it starts doing damage to the inside lining of the arteries. It definitely increases your risk of stroke, heart attack, plaque in the arteries, things like that. And it also makes weight gain. So you'll see the people start gaining weight in the middle. People say, I can't lose weight no matter what I do. Well, when we do their lab work, they're pre-diabetic. I'm like, it's because you're pre-diabetic. Well, what does that mean? So that's what we hear all day long. What does that mean? So we're here to tell you that means your body is not handling sugar and carbohydrates properly.
If you find out that you've got a problem like this to begin with, okay, it's much easier to turn it around before it causes problems, especially major problems, like neuropathies or heart attacks, things like that. because it's definitely linked to heart attacks and strokes. We know that. So, okay, if you can stop that before it turns into something nasty bad, then we're much better off.
Now we're going to tell you what you can do when you are pre-diabetic.
Yes.
If you are pre-diabetic, the first thing to do is to have your A1C checked.
Yeah.
You got to know if you're pre-diabetic. A lot of people have never had it checked because their fasting sugar could still be normal. And a lot of times we see people come in with lab work from their doctors. Their fasting sugar is still normal, so they've never had an A1C done. If you have high triglycerides, the good likelihood is that you will also have a high A1C.
And when she says high triglycerides, now we're not talking about necessarily out of range. If your triglycerides go over, say, 100 on you look at your test, and you said like it goes up to 150 or something like that. And if it goes over about 100, you're probably starting to develop some problems there, right there. And there's no doubt about it that higher triglycerides even, are linked to some cardiovascular damage and problems that you don't want.
So first thing we tell people is you have to change your diet. What they don't want to hear is that you have to change your diet.
That's true.
There is no pill out there. There is no prescription pill. There is no supplement that can substitute what you're eating.
That's true.
So number one is to actually decrease the carbohydrates and sugar in your diet. Sugar need to be completely eliminated pretty much, or try to eliminate it as much as possible. I always tell people, they say, how much sugar should I eat? And I say, try to eat none, and you're still going to get more than you should. That's what I tell people.
Very
On
true.
carbohydrates, you want your vegetables and a little bit of fruit and some of the berries and things like that. You're getting carbohydrates. You don't want the starches.
Yes.
So the high starches definitely turn to sugar, and the body has a harder time dealing with it.
And what is a high starch? Bread, rice,
pasta, rice,
potatoes.
Yeah.
As everybody always says, oh, the good stuff.
Right.
Yeah, and it does taste good, no doubt about it, but it can cause us a problem too. So, like you said, the complex carbohydrates, and I always, it's not my favorite food, but broccoli comes to mind. That's a complex carbohydrate. Again, I don't particularly like it, but
it's good for you.
It's good for you.
So it is something that you can eat carbohydrate-wise. So I tell people, don't cut out all your vegetables. No. Just make sure you eat the right ones.
Exactly.
And so when it comes to pre-diabetes, the best way to turn it around is to change your diet. Now, there are supplements that actually can help. And again, I say help. You can't just eat what you want, take all the supplements you want, and think that it's going to be normal. What we use is we have one called Berberine Max. Berberine Max main ingredient is berberine. Berberine has some really good research information that helps with all kind of things. It even is one of your natural GLP-1. So it actually does help with weight loss. It does help with blood sugar control. It does help with the insulin resistance. And so it is something that is very beneficial in most cases.
And we also, in that Berberine Max, we also put in something called R-lipoic acid, which is a reduced form of lipoic acid. And everybody's heard of alpha lipoic acid. Well, this is just a kind of a souped up version of alpha lipoic acid is what it is.
Right.
It works better. And there's to protect your nerves and stuff.
Yeah. It actually helps protect the nerves
and
help repair the nerves that are damaged due to the blood sugar. Another supplement that we use often is called GSF, and that stands for glucose support formula. It is a combination of things. It is not just one thing. It is your chromium and vanadium, which are minerals that help with blood sugar control. It has bitter melon, which is a plant insulin. It has your alpha lipoic acid. It has cinnamon extract, but it's a specific cinnamon extract that's just the active ingredients from cinnamon that actually help with blood sugar control. So it is a combination of things that help as collectively to lower blood sugar. So it is also very beneficial for blood sugar. Like he said earlier, definitely better to prevent and catch it when it's pre-diabetes than to wait until it's diabetes. If you've been told, don't worry about it, you need to find another doctor, or don't listen to whoever's telling you that, because it is not true. You do need to worry about it. If you worry about your health and you're concerned that you want to be as healthy as you can be, you have to look at that number to see if you're healthy or not.
Yeah, to me, the most dangerous words used in medicine today are, we'll just watch it. We're going to watch it deteriorate is what we're going to do. You don't want to do that with your health. Take the step to get it turned around right now.
Now, there's no doubt some people can take 10 years to turn from pre-diabetes to diabetes. I have seen some people that 6 months later, they were pre-diabetic and then they're severe, uncontrolled diabetic within 6 months. So it can come on really fast. And so don't wait till it happens.
Okay, hopefully this struck a bell with you, so to speak, kind of got your attention. and maybe thinking, oh, okay, so this prediabetes thing really can be kind of nasty.
Precursors are worse things to come.
Exactly, which is something you don't want. And if you have any other questions or anything, feel free to contact us. We offer a free consultation with people all the time because a lot of people got a lot of questions, and we understand that, and we think that healthcare needs to be available to everybody, period, regardless of your ability to pay. So, hey, it's a free thing. We'll talk to you, help you out what we can. In the meantime, start paying attention. Find out what that A1C is, and let's start getting you healthy again.